2020 was the first year that I ever used a kind of DIY reading journal. There are plenty of reading journals out there that you can find, on Amazon, if you use Amazon, Etsy, bookstores. They already have like pre-made pages and spreads where you would keep notes or track what you're reading, and those are all great, but I never stick with one of those. So last year, 2020, I decided to start my own reading journal. And I kind of want to talk through it and then show you what I did for 2021, because some things have definitely changed for me with the new year. So this is a Leuchtturm 1917. It's one of the, I think they're called slim ones, that's got like the foldable soft cover, so it's not one of the hardcover bullet journals, and it's a bit larger than most, than the normal average size. So as you can see, I have an index for 2020. And I'm still using this journal for 2021 because I didn't finish it and I'm not ready to start a new journal yet. So I am using the following index pages for my 2021 reading. And I wanted to use those pages up because I always feel like they give you more index pages than you need. And then my first spread here, just my reading journal. I really liked how this turned out, and I really liked having this kind of title page. It's very aesthetic, so I really do enjoy it. And then we have kind of my reading goals and tracking. So here you see my reading resolutions for 2020. I wanted to read 12 nonfiction books, complete my challenges, read one book I can brag about, use a reading journal, and start annotating while reading. And I do feel like besides these reading challenges, I did accomplish all of these goals. If you're wondering, the one book I can brag about, I don't know, I guess I would say maybe The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, because it's dense and I finished it, so I'm proud of me. And then I was attempting to track just the days that I was reading so that, I would just see like how often I read, but I did not keep up with it, so I'm definitely not using this. These are the 2 reading challenges that I attempted in 2020. So we've got the Modern Mrs. Darcy reading challenge, and I almost finished it. I just needed to read one more book, and I didn't end up reading it in 2020. And then I always have, well, for the past 2 years, so 2019 and 2020, I tried to do a Goodreads Choice Award winner challenge so that I would read all of the winners. And I'm just not interested in a lot of these books, so I never complete it. And I definitely changed it for 2021, and you'll see that in a little bit. And then I have my next spread for 2020, and this was my like TBR, kind of just like books that I really was hoping to read in 2020. And I did okay. I read about half of them. And then I also filmed an end of year TBR that I also wrote into my bullet journal, or my reading journal, and I read all of them but 3, and I read most of Little Women in 2020, so I did a half slash for that. And then this is something that I did carry over into 2021, my reading checklist, aka a habit tracker, and I think it was just really fun to like ask myself, did I read at least 5 books? Or did I read a diverse book, and I definitely changed some of these up for 2021, but I definitely really loved doing this. And this is just my books read in 2020. So I just wrote everything out. I would write the title of the book, the author of the book, and the star rating. And then I would also mark sometimes whether like this one being a nonfiction book, this one being a nonfiction book that was written by a woman of color. And I haven't finished writing that out for 2020, so I still might do that. And then I kind of try to like break up my reading into the seasons, and so I did a summer reading little intro here, which I think turned out really cute. These stickers are from the Happy Planner collection. And this was my spread for the Modern Mrs. Darcy Summer Reading Guide. She comes out with this guide every year, and I always love to look at it, even though I don't read most of the books, especially not in the summer, but I thought it was really cute, and I really liked the spread. I got a lot of inspiration from What Carrie Reads on Instagram. I will put her handle in the description if you want to take a look. I always enjoy looking at her reading journal, just because I feel like we kind of have the same end goal for a reading journal. And so I kind of developed a little key here that I was interested in reading the books, an H for hold placed at my library, and then a check mark for read and a heart for loved. And then I also ended up coloring in the books that I really enjoyed, and there were only 3 in this list that I colored in, but that's because I just didn't read a lot of it. And then I also wanted to have kind of a summer reading wrap-up, but I just failed, so I ended up reading 4 books from this huge list and only have 2 favorites. And then I also did like a little cover page for June. Again, these stickers are from Happy Planner, and I just thought that this was such a summer vibe. And then I tried out this kind of like my tracking page for June, let's call it that. So I made a to be read, a TBR, my anticipated releases for the month, book club books, and then the books that I ended up reading. So, and this avocado washi tape is from AC Moore, I want to say. I don't remember, it's been a while since I bought it. And then I also did my statistics page. As you can see, I only read 3 books in June, so what a great way to start out a bullet journal. And then we've come into my first kind of like spreads for my reading journal. This book log, I kind of took some inspiration from an image that I saw on Pinterest, and I'll see if I can find it and post it down in the description. And this is what I did for Educated by Tara Westover, which I also was reading for my work book club, so it turned out good, like a good thing that I was using kind of this log so I'd have more things to talk about and it would help me remember more. And then I also did this little spread for Survive the Night by Danielle Vega. I kind of recreated the cover here. And yeah, just a little blurb for it, because as you can see, I DNF'd it at 50%, so I didn't feel the need to have a huge spread for it. And then I reread The Well of Ascension, and I added this photo. This is straight from my Instagram from the first time that I read the book, and I just thought that was really fun. And then I saw this mid-year book freakout tag. This was before I started my booktube channel, so I kind of took it as a booktube tag and then just put it in my bullet journal, and I did not complete all of the prompts because like, what is newest fictional crush? I mean, I'm not that type of person, so I skipped that. And then this was really important to me. I did a mid-year check-in to see what my reading was like, and at this point I'd only read 3 books that were not written by a white person, so that was like really just like a good thing to see so that I could fix that. And then I set some goals for the rest of the year. For July spread, I kind of did a Harry Potter theme because it was his birthday, and I have had these little stickers for years. I hadn't used them yet. So I really liked this a lot better. This was when I started my booktube channel and when I did my first readathon and reading vlog, The Reading Rush, which also turned into a shit show, as many of us know. But I really liked the way that looks. And then I did kind of a different statistics page, started cataloging my favorites from the month. Just like it a lot better. This spread for Cersei, very minimalistic. I love the way that it turned out. And then I kind of got like crazy note kind of look that I also kind of love. I like the messiness of it. So I've got Get a Life Chloe Brown at the top here, and then So You Want to Talk About Race, which I also kind of like tried to mimic the cover And I think it turned out messy, but I like messy. And then I really just copied a lot of quotes from the book down here, and then just a post-it note that I had in the book about something that it made me think of, and then, you know, BLM, Black Lives Matter. And some other spreads from the month. I did a whole page for Witchy, the graphic novel, because I really loved it, and I just love the simplicity of this. And then this is my reading rush wrap up, which again, shit show, but I just love the way that this turned out. So I really like the way that it looked. And then we get into August, and because of everything that was going on at that time, I really liked having this kind of mantra in my reading journal, let's keep growing, to remind myself that reading helps you grow and that I should keep going, you know? And I read so many, this was my best read month in 2020. I read so many books. And this was when Summerween happened, and I kind of hate both of these spreads. So yeah. And then I loved this. I did a kind of reading vlog in the first weekend of August where I just read a lot of small books, which happened to be very diverse, and I loved it. I loved all of these books, and I really enjoy how this little spread came together. And then we come to, I did a kind of a little bit more creative collage-y style spread for Crescent City. And then I also have on the first half of the page Romancing the Duke by Tessa Dare, which was, I think, my favorite historical romance that I read in 2020. And then I have a whole bunch of pages from like a really old magazine, and I thought this image was like perfect for the guest list. It just really kind of summarizes the whole vibe of the book. So I really like that. And then my historical romance books that I read. Another book log that I did for when I was rereading To Kill a Mockingbird, just because I was really analyzing it, because I've heard so many things about it that I didn't remember from when I read it in high school, and I think it really helped me analyze it in a way that I realized that it's trash. And then I have my Rory Gilmore 24-hour readathon spread, and then my wrap-up, which I just like how that came together. I feel like this is probably the prettiest one in terms of my handwriting and hand lettering, so I really enjoy that. And then for my cozy fall reads, I have these like duck, geese, whatever, stickers from the Sticky Club, and I can post their link in the description box as well, and I just felt like they fit perfectly into that cozy fall vibe. September, I did also find an image that kind of inspired this, and I'll see if I can find it, all from Pinterest, and then just all of my listy things. Did a whole spread on the More or Less Guide to Self-Care. I really enjoyed having this in here. And then also another spread on the Enneagram and you, and just some notes. So really enjoyed having that I can look back on. Little short blurbs, because 2 of these were rereads and then one of them was a 3-star read, so. And then I have my spread for Pride and Prejudice, which I read for the first time in 2020, and I absolutely loved it, and I definitely wanted to have these images. So this is I think the most popular illustration of Jane Austen, and then this is when Elizabeth and Darcy, and then just Keira Knightley and what's his name, Matthew McFadden, I think, from the adaptation, and I love it so much. And there's a little quote there that you might not be able to see. It says, "We are all fools in love." Love it. And then I did another full spread for The Way of Kings. Did a lot of journaling about how I felt about it, and then just this quote that I really enjoyed, and then just some more short blurby spreads. And my September wrap-up, which I hate. I really hate how that came up. I just don't like it. And then we got October. Did some spoopy doodles. And then this is probably my favorite spread and, you know, one of my favorite books of 2020, The House in the Cerulean Sea. I found, again, this photograph from a very old magazine that I have, and I printed out the cover of the book. Just love it so much. And then my October wrap-up. Don't love that either. Then we get to November. And I have this kind of half spread for The Age of Innocence. And then I did a full page spread for When No One Is Watching. And I have a picture of Alyssa Cole in there because I thought it was a pretty cool picture, and it was in the Book Page magazine, and I was like, why not? And then I did a spread for Holopox, and this is from the Al Crate Jr. Holopox box. I just kind of cut out the image that was on the first page of the like information pamphlet because I thought it was super cute and I wanted it forever. Then my November wrap-up spread definitely looks a lot cuter than the last two. And then December, which I'm pretty sure I filmed this in a catch-up reading vlog, and I hate how it turned out. And then we come to my 2020 reading. So with 2020 being the first year that I really had a DIY reading journal, I kind of took a lot of inspiration from what I was seeing from booktubers and just on Instagram and YouTube and Pinterest. And by the time I got through the end of the year, it was just becoming a little tiring and I was feeling a lot of burnout. So I definitely did not stick with it. As you could see from December, I didn't even do any pages for the books that I read. So I kind of took a step back for 2021 and just kind of wanted to evaluate, what do I want a reading journal for, what things worked for me in 2020 and what didn't. And so I definitely revamped this and I'm doing it completely different. And I'm really just trying to be more simplistic for my reading journal because I don't feel like doing these whole page spreads. And I might do that still for like, if like my favorite book of 2021, I might do like a whole page spread. And I'll show you how I'll fit that into what my layout is for 2021. But I really want to stop here and just chat about having a bullet journal, and for people who are making a reading journal for the first time or just trying to find inspiration. I know a lot of the times we see these really beautiful spreads, and then we see some booktubers who do these great journaling videos, and they're absolutely beautiful and artistic, and I'm very, like, I love watching them, but it's kind of hard to keep up with that. And also, like, we see just what they're doing on camera, you know, we don't see what they're doing all the time in their reading journal, so they might not be doing these spreads. And so I feel like a lot of us might be getting drawn into this, well, I need to do this if I want to have a reading journal that looks like that. And I think that starting a reading journal and like not copying, but like using their spreads for inspiration is a great way to like increase your creativity and just help you find what you like in a reading journal. So I think it's definitely a fantastic way to learn. But if you're someone who wants a kind of more minimalistic but still kind of cute reading journal, I do have a few tips that I want to share. Number one, you don't have to have a cute spread for every single book you read. I think by the time I got to like August and September, I was doing it for every single book. And sometimes I just don't have a lot to say in my reading journal about every book that I read. So I'm not, like, I don't want to have like these spreads where I like put down stickers and washi tape and do some doodling or like print out the book covers if it's not a book that I have nothing to say about, you know? So don't feel like you have to do it for every book. Also, it's okay to not have like a monthly spread in your reading journal. I know, like, I was doing that and I would write out my TBR for the month and my like the books that I hauled and the books that I end up reading, and again, it became kind of repetitive because I had this list in the very beginning of my bullet journal, but then I would also have it for every month, and it kind of just like wastes space. So if you don't want to do that, don't do it. I also am just kind of cutting out spreads that I don't use, you know, like the reading tracker where I was trying to like record the days that I was reading. And that's kind of also a little bit, it can be very upsetting to see an empty like reading tracker if you're going through a slump for whatever reason. It could be very discouraging. So definitely that's another reason why you might not use that kind of spread. So things that I feel like are great things for everyone to have in their reading journal: a list of books that you read. And I think it's great to track what you want in that. So for me, I would track the author's name, the title of the book, how many pages the book had, when did I read it, and then things like themes and stuff like that. Also, another thing that I would count are my reading challenges. If I'm following any kind of challenge from wherever, I would write that in there so I could check it off, but I wouldn't go crazy and write down every single challenge that I could find on the internet, because there are a lot. I also would definitely write in goals, even if they're like just plain goals like read 50 books or read 100 books. I think seeing that in there just is very encouraging and kind of just, you know, makes me feel more hopeful about actually completing challenges. So here we have my 2021 reading journal, still using the same journal. I drew this very basic bookshelf in here, and I definitely just tried to do something very plain. The only thing that I really knew that I wanted was to have like a tiny little shelf in the middle where I could put 2021 reads. And then have like some kind of basic decoration at the top of it. And then I don't know what I'm planning on doing with this. I might write in all of the books that I read in this, or I might just keep it plain. Maybe I'll write my favorite books, who knows. And then on this page I have my reading goals for 2021. I want to read 10 classic novels, read all 21 books from my shelf, so I'm doing a 21 and 2021 challenge to read 21 books that I have already chosen, and they're on my TBR shelf. And then I want to read all of the fiction Goodreads choice nominees, and then I just have another simple goal: 100 books. And this is definitely carried over from 2020. I really, really liked having this, but I definitely changed up what categories I had in here. So I want to make sure that I'm reading a book I own every month. Reading a nonfiction, reading a diverse book, listen to an audiobook, read a book over 400 pages, read a 5-star book, read a classic, read out of my comfort zone, complete the book club book, read a graphic novel, read an arc, and reread a book. My next spread is 2021 eGalleys. I use Edelweiss, and I kind of, as a librarian, just get approved for everything, and sometimes it's a little overwhelming and I often forget where or when these books are coming out and what books and what they're about. So I have a spread where I'm just recording the publication date, the title of the book, the author of the book, and the genre to kind of keep me organized. And then I might like put a little check mark or a dot next to the books that I read. And I did leave 2 pages for this, which I kind of feel like is a mistake. I don't think I'm gonna have 2 pages worth, but who knows? We'll see. And then we have my Goodreads Choice Awards, Best Fiction. I put them in the order that the order of the votes. So The Midnight Library by Matt Haig is the book that won, and then I just put them in the order. And then I think as I'm reading it, and then at the end of the year, I want to order them in the way that I would. So I'll put like, for whatever book I think should have won, I'll put like a number 1 under it or whatever. And I'm reading all of these as far as I can tell, and I already crossed American Dirt off because it is the only one that I'm refusing to read, just because of the nature of the book and the author and all of the controversy that happened last year. And then on the other side I have my other reading challenge, the Modern Mrs. Darcy reading challenge, and I really liked what she did this year and kind of did a DIY reading challenge where we could, all of her viewers could just pick what they wanted out of the challenges and also start like mini projects and things like that, and what reading life you want to have and things like that. So I chose these prompts. And then this is the rest. I've already started my reading log, and this is so simple and I'm already loving it so far. So I just have this up here that just says read. So these are the books that I've read, and I'm recording the title, the author, the dates that I read it, the rating, and notes. So for 84 Charing Cross Road by Helen Hanff, I read that on January 2nd and gave it 5 stars. It was only 97 pages. It was an epistolary novel and theme kind of like books about books, and then I kind of just wrote a little kind of review or how I felt about it, and then that is how I'm planning on tracking my reading and journaling about my reading. So much more simple, and if I really want to have a full page spread for a single book, I can just come over to the next page and just put it right there. So if I decide that I'm going to have like a full page spread for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I'm just going to cut out this book cover and then just journal around it. And then I don't mind having it in between like my other reading stats. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to using it this year. I think that it'll be a lot better for my sanity and not feeling like I have to do more than I really want to. And that's how I'm changing up my reading journal for 2021. I'm going for a much more minimalistic kind of a reading journal. I'm only recording things that I need to know, and just having more simple spreads so I don't feel like such burnout from journaling all the time about the books that I read. Other ways that I'm tracking my reading this year, I am still using the Cawpile spreadsheet that is made by Book Roast. Her channel is Book Roast, I think. I'll put the link for that in the description as well. And also using Goodreads still, although I am trying out this new website called Storygraph, and I'm gonna see if it's something that I want to switch to permanently. A function where you can export all of your bookshelves from Goodreads into their website, and it didn't work exactly, and they blame it on Goodreads, and I'm okay blaming it on Goodreads as well. But yeah, so I think I'm going to use that. I also found this new app called Read More, and it's a great app for tracking how much time you spend on reading, how long it takes you to read books, and I think it's just like the purpose of the app is to help you read more. So I'm also going to be using that, and I think that's it. But yeah, I'm really excited to have this easy spread so that I can focus more on reading the books and less on what I have to do when I'm finished. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you got something out of it. Reading journals are fun. And I hope that making these changes will really help me. So I said that I'm still in the same journal, and I've got about 40 pages left in this journal. So that definitely should be enough, right? If I have, let's say, 5 books per page and I read 100, so that means I'll have 20 pages for all of my books, and then I'll have 20 pages left. So maybe once I get towards the end of the year, I might start journaling about how my reading was, and also like maybe in the middle of the year I'll stop with this tracker and have a page for like the mid-year freakout tag, or just like evaluating my reading life in the middle of the year. So I think 40 pages is plenty, and I'm so pleased with how this turned out. So let me know down in the comments if you're using a reading journal this year, if you made your own or if you use a pre-made one. And what kind of spreads do you always have in your reading journal? Thanks for watching Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye.